back to another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point. I'm joined by Mr. Christian Simpson, who just dropped his latest mock draft. And if you haven't read the number on the tin, we are doing our mock draft show 4.0, where me and Christian both have brand new mock drafts. I included a trade in my mock draft. So we'll see what Christian thinks about that trade I have proposed. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter at PSW_David, Prime Sports World, pretty good place to be. We go live 6 or 7 times a week, bringing the most up-to-date content. Also want to thank our friends over there at Rouge Bear for sponsoring us here at Prime Sports World. Let your presence be felt. Drop the link to their website and our Facebook page, along with the NFL Stream Facebook page as well. Thank you very much for supporting us here at Prime Sports World. We very, very much appreciate it. Let us know down in the comment section what you think about both of our mock drafts, and who do you think mock draft is going to be closer to reality when it all plays out. Christian, what was the most difficult part of doing this mock draft as opposed to the 3 other ones we've done? By the way, if you want to read Christian's entire mock draft, it is at dailyblitz.blog. Shameless plug. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you, baby.
I think the most difficult thing about it, I can't really say. Sometimes certain guys that you may have in one draft, you don't put them in on your next. So that's probably the only thing I'd say it is the most difficult of everything. Other than that, it's kind of a breeze for me.
Yeah, I think some of these wide receivers feel very similar to each other, so it's like hard to really we're kind of feel you're splitting hairs when you're talking about these wide receivers that are kind of up there at the top of the draft. Also joining us here is Jay Hopkins. How you doing, man?
I'm all right.
All right, so let's just get into our mock draft. Let's start with the first overall pick. Um, Christian, who do you have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking with their very first pick in this year's draft?
Well, you got your quarterback last year. You have to protect him. I have Jacksonville Jaguars taking Ike Ekwonu with the #1 overall pick out of North Carolina State. He's a guy you can plug in immediately, and he's going to have an immediate impact right then and there. A guy that's low, plays with that center of gravity at all times, and he plays with a nasty streak. They're calling him the most physical offensive lineman in this draft.
I tended to agree with you, and then free agency happened, and they brought back Cam Robinson, who hasn't been particularly good, but I still think because of the way that they have addressed free agency, I do not think they're going to go off the line with their draft. I have them taking the Aiden Hutchinson edge out of Michigan. I know I had him at 4 in my Big Bird yesterday. If you guys watched that show, but I do believe he is going to be the first overall pick. TJ.
I too have been taking Aiden Hutchinson first overall. I was listening to the Herd last night at work, and I forgot who he was talking to, but he said that he has no idea where this Aiden Hutchinson first overall stuff came from. I'm like, well, that's the beauty of the draft, right? You don't have to know where any of this stuff comes from, right? And this is also what happens when you have no clear cut #1 overall pick. You bounce around a lot.
Yep.
So I got Aiden Hutchinson going first.
Yeah, there's nobody on this board that's Trevor Lawrence isn't on this draft class. It's not in the draft class.
No, there's no Myles Garrett in this draft.
We're moving on from Jacksonville. Your team needs are right there: wide receiver, quarterback, offensive guard, linebacker, and defensive tackle. TJ, who do you think the Lions are going to go with their your very first mock draft? Is the first mock draft you've done this year, by the way?
Mm-hmm. First and only. I ain't doing nothing. First and only. But I got Kyle
who do you have the Detroit Lions go with their?
Kyle Hamilton going second overall to Detroit.
So I have the Detroit Lions going on the defensive side of the football as well. But I have them going. I think my internet is having a moment right now. But I have them going with Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge out of Oregon. I just look at the Detroit Lions and look at their needs. I think they're good on offensive line. I don't think they need to address that at all. I think that they need to get a good edge rusher, and I think Kayvon Thibodeau came into the season as the #1 prospect in college football. The taint around him, I think, is a little bit absurd. The dude is crazy athletic, crazy measurable. Look for him to be the second pick by Detroit. Christian.
I have the Lions taking Aiden Hutchinson. I think he stays home in Michigan. As I've been saying, reminds me of a slightly less explosive version of Joey Bosa. He's not that quick off the line of scrimmage, but he can get to wherever he wants. And, again, he's another guy that I think the Lions need. The Lions haven't really had an impact defender since Ndamukong Suh, and he will fill that void right away. They haven't really had a guy that can come in and change the entire dynamic of the defense, and I think he'd be great in Detroit in that system.
I tend to agree with you. I think if Aiden Hutchinson was still on my board, I think because of the narrative about him staying in home, going to Detroit, and being from Michigan, it's a really good story. But yeah, he's already gone in my board. So there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Moving on to the third pick, we got the Houston Texans on the clock. Their team needs are quarterback, running back, tight end, offensive guard, defensive end, cornerback, and safety. And I have the first defensive back coming off the board here. I have the Houston Texans taking Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame. This guy is probably I think the safest pick in the entire draft. If I had to pick one guy that I know was going to be a superstar level player, Kyle Hamilton, and then I have the Houston Texans addressing one of their major second. Kyle Hamilton, number 2. Texans. Christian.
That's not a bad pick. And if you've been following along with me, I've been high on Kyle Hamilton. Just has a lot of range. But, I like where the Texans are headed with their quarterback. I know a lot of people probably didn't expect Davis Mills to do much of anything, but considering the circumstances that he was in, he did fairly well.
I agree with you. He was probably the second best quarterback last year.
He did a lot better than I think a lot of people anticipated him to. So why not get him some protection either? With the third pick, I have the Houston Texans taking Evan Neal, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. Just an athletic guy. Have you seen this guy's workout tape? No offensive lineman should be moving as quickly and getting up off the snap as quickly as he does for a man his size. He's just solid. He bullies people around. He pushes people around. He can bring that nastiness. The Houston Texans have been looking for that franchise offensive tackle, and I think they can strike gold by getting him in this one.
Let me before we get to Jay's pick, let me ask you. So in this scenario, are they moving Larry Tunsil? Are they trading him, or are they moving him to right tackle? So what's the scenario with Larry Tunsil?
I would move him to right tackle. You can't necessarily just get rid of him because you're going to want something in return. I say you see what you can get out of him for another year, and then if it doesn't work out, you cut him, you release him.
Okay. I think the reason that I stayed away from the tackle is because they had Larry Tunsil. Unless they're going to do a draft trade for him, trade him somewhere else. Because I think they could. They could absolutely could. And I think the Evan Neal thing makes a lot of sense. Because you could put Evan Neal all over your offensive line. He's literally played everywhere.
Yeah, he can play all over.
Which is why Evan Neal is going to Houston. I agree with Christian. Evan Neal is going third overall to Houston just because he can play everywhere on the line. You don't need him to play left tackle until you make that move, until you trade away Larry Tunsil, and that's if you trade him away.
Yep. It's all a bunch of ifs right there. So moving on to the New York Jets, who have 2 picks in the top 10. This one is their team needs quarterback, running back, tight end, offensive guard, defensive end, cornerback, and safety. Christian, how do you see the Jets? What do you see the Jets doing here?
Hold on, Christian, before you go, David, I done told you what to do with teams like the Jets. When you say team needs, nigga, just write everything. Everything, just write everything. That's just so much easier than listing off all the issues.
Hey, TJ.
Hey, man.
TJ, for you
saying... You leave the graphics alone, okay? TJ, I put a lot of work into them.
Nah. I'm with TJ. TJ, for that, I'm going to eat some popcorn for you. Okay?
Just say everything.
Okay.
All right. But go ahead.
So when you think of the Jets, you look at who their head coach is now. What's his background? Defense, right? He's a defensive-minded guy. You saw what he was able to work with in San Francisco with Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead. He's going to go and get him a defensive end here. I like the New York Jets at number 4 to select Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's the best player in this entire draft. I thought he was the best player in college football last year, if we're being real. He's from that Von Miller tree, that guy that can put hands down in the dirt and the guy that can play on the outside as a linebacker. Closest thing I've seen to DeMarcus Ware, just a guy that can do a little bit of everything. And he almost has the same build as DeMarcus. And I think, this is a guy that Coach Salah is really going to benefit and thrive with. Look, I'm sure I'd be excited to call up a guy and say, hey, you're going to be a New York Jet. We're going to make you a Jet with our first pick, and I think he's really trying to build up this defense, and I think this is the perfect piece to start with.
Totally agree. But he's already off my board, so I have them taking the best cornerback in this year's draft. I have them taking Sauce Gardner, the kid out of Cincinnati. This dude allowed 0 touchdowns in his 4 years at Cincinnati. 0. Yeah, he will be the best corner in this draft, and the Jets have a major need at corner. So give me Sauce Gardner for the Jets. Also joining us here on the show is Mr. Israel Rivera, CEO of Prize. What's up, buddy? He had a lot of background noise. So
He muted himself.
no, I muted.
But I agree with you. Sauce Gardner at what's his 4? Yeah, Sauce Gardner 4th. So every mock I've seen or read has Sauce Gardner going at 4. Again, we pointed this out the other day. 4-year starter, no touch. Wait, what was it? What was the stat there?
0 touchdowns.
0 touchdowns in 4 years.
I think he only allowed like 12 catches for like 100 yards.
Right. I don't want to hear, oh, he was at Cincinnati. He played this level of competition. 4 years, 0 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns. I don't care.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
I totally agree with you. Is there any insight on any of these picks, or at least the Jets? Let's move on to the next pick. We got the New York Giants on the clock. Christian Simpson, New York Giants on the clock, and their team needs are literally everything. Okay, TJ, you happy? You can read their team needs right there on the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and check it out if you want to. But Christian, for your New York Giants, who have 2 picks in the first 10, top 10, or 2 picks in the top 6, really, or 7. How do you see their first one? What do you do with their first one?
First off, the way you said that, TJ, you heard the way he said that? The Giants just need everything. You heard that attitude?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. I mean, but is he wrong though?
No, he's
Okay,
not
perfect.
wrong. No, it's not what you say. It's how you say it.
Oh, it's how you said it. Oh, okay. Okay.
It's how you say it.
Hey man, I'm not usually disrespectful. But so, Christian, how do you see the Giants? What do you see them doing?
So we lying today. We're lying today, Dave. That's what we're doing.
TJ, I'm eating another bag of popcorn for you.
So we lying
So back
today.
to the draft and the mock draft here. 4.0. We got the Giants on the clock with the 5th overall pick. Christian, I'll let you go first because this is your team.
I have the Giants taking Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman out of Georgia, a guy that can play edge, a guy that can play inside. Pretty much a guy that you can plug in. He can play all over the defensive line, and he was kind of the underrated superstar of that Georgia defense that led them to a national championship last year. You heard about Darion Kendrick. You heard about Big Jordan Davis, of course. You heard about Nakobe Dean, but I look at Trayvon, and he was the guy that did all the dirty work in the middle, which allowed all those other pieces of that Georgia team to kind of roam around and do what they did, let them swarm to the ball and whatnot. I think this would be a great pickup for the Giants.
I like it. TJ.
Agreed. That's why I got going to New York with their first pick in the first round. It also it's a definite need. All right, it's a definite need. They need to get off the field. Again, it's a team that needs everything, right? You're still trying to figure out what you got in Daniel Jones. I don't see them going quarterback at any point in this draft.
Especially not this early. But
right, especially not this early, or even at 7.
It's Sam Howell sitting there in like the 3rd or 4th round. You won't be, but I could see a scenario where they take 3rd.
Yeah.
If he's there,
I think I have a feeling Brian Daboll is going to be very particular about the quarterback he picks.
If he takes Carson Strong, who I guess his medicals didn't really check out. So there's a lot of big red flag, but he kind of fits that build of the guy that kind of Brian Daboll was kind of like. Anyways, who do you got them taking here at 5?
Trayvon Walker. They need it.
So I have them going on the other side of the football. I have them taking Evan Neal, the offensive lineman out of Alabama. He kind of fits everywhere on this team because they have Andrew Thomas, who they took with the pretty high pick last year, who hasn't been, or 2 years ago really, hasn't been particularly good since he got there. You can move him right tackle, or Andrew Thomas steps up, you can have Evan play left guard, you can have him play right guard. He just gives you a lot of versatility on your offensive line. It's something that's is it
Evan Neal definitely. Just going off what you said, David, and I go off of your picks. Yeah, I think Evan Neal will be a great pick just by what you said. He's very he can move him all across the line. He's athletic as all heck. And that's key for the Lions. I mean, I'm not the Lions, the Giants. They need help everywhere on that offensive line, and he's pretty much the best offensive line in the draft. So go with the best offensive lineman that you can get in this draft.
well, not according to Mr. Christian Simpson. So. Moving on from the New York Giants, we got the Carolina Panthers on the clock. Their team needs a quarterback, offensive line, safety, defensive tackle, and defensive end. TJ, how do you have the Carolina taking with this pick here? You have them going quarterback, you have them doing something else?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have Malik Willis going right here at 6 to the Panthers. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. You already got Sam Darnold. You got, as far as I know, you still got Cam.
Cam is a free agent. He has not signed.
All right, you don't have a plan.
No, there's no continuously
there's
plan.
No,
nothing set in stone about
you have an owner who is disgruntled for whatever reason. Like, dude, your team sucks. Like, that's like I get that's a reason to be disgruntled, but you gave a head coach a 6-year deal and you're ready to fire him after year 2. Like, that's not a direction you want to go in. So yeah. I got them going Kayvon Thibodeau. I got them focusing on the other side of the ball, at least for right now. And yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau, he gonna be a culture changer for that Panther defense.
Christian.
Man, the Panthers need a clue. They need a clue, and they need Jesus. They're just a mess right now. I'll be professional, and I'll say, Panthers, I have them take Charles Cross from Mississippi State. And if you're noticing one thing, this is an offensive tackle heavy draft. I haven't seen it like this.
At least to the top 10.
There are a lot of quality franchise offensive tackles in this draft, and I think the Chargers are going to draft one as well. Now, what they do after that is beyond me, but they need something. They need to get rid of the coach too.
So I have them also just off the line. It's like TJ always says, like drafting a quarterback here does not make the team any better. Like they have holes everywhere. Replacing Sam Darnold with a rookie is not going to be a magic dust to fix all the other problems with this roster, as TJ always points out and says. But I have Ickey Ekwonu still on my board here at 6. That's what the Panthers take. He's the best run blocking offensive tackle in this draft. And what do the Carolina Panthers directly want to do with Christian McCaffrey if he's still there by the time the season starts? Run the football. Take the pressure off of your terrible quarterback situation. Run it. Give Christian McCaffrey some carries if he can stay healthy. Ickey Ekwonu, Carolina Panthers.
I'm actually gonna go with a quarterback. It's not gonna be Malik Willis. It's actually gonna be Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett goes here. They look at, I like Malik Willis. I think he's been, he's been rising up draft boards, especially with his, with his work, his pre-draft workouts. He's got an electric arm. We all know how athletic he is. But I think the Carolina Panthers go with a safer pick, and I think that's Kenny Pickett right here from Pittsburgh.
A safer pick would be taking it off. But moving on from there, we got the New York Giants back in the clock. This is the pick from the Chicago Bears as part of the Justin Fields trade. Their needs, again, everything, as TJ likes to point out. I have them taking a defensive end. I got them taking Dwayne Johnson Jr., the kid out of Florida State, kind of for the same reasons, that Christian kind of talked about when he talked about taking Trayvon Walker. You need to kind of a franchise changer on the other side of the ball. Get your offensive lineman in the first pick in the first round. Get your franchise defensive end second pick in the second round. This guy is,
and we all got different picks. I'm just saying we all got different picks from you, David. So
I would hope so.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we all got different picks. So
yeah,
hey, just saying.
Johnson Jr.
So not one. So if I come with my draft, it's not gonna be the same as yours. So you
I
saying
hope not.
that
I
I
would
get
hope
you. Hey,
so.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying. No, when I said safer pick at quarterback, I mean Kenny Pickett. I didn't mean safer. Offensive lineman is
I was
definitely a
just giving
safer
you a hard
pick.
time, man.
I know. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know.
But yeah, Jermaine Johnson going to the Giants. Christian, your New York Giants are back on the clock. Who do you got them rolling with?
Man, we going with defensive back help. Sauce, come on through. I had the Giants taking Sauce Gardner. Someone tried on another show I contribute for. They tried calling him by his first, and I said, no, you be respectful and you address him by what he's called. His nickname is Sauce, so that's what we gonna call him. This is a shutdown corner that can do everything. Plays in the box, can make tackles, can come in on the corner blitz, and he does everything in coverage without help over the top. You need him to play man, he plays man. Need him to play zone, he plays zone, and he wants the number one receiver on the other team.
TJ.
Ike Ekwanwu was still on my board, so that's what they get.
Like it. Izzy.
Give me Derek Stingley at this pick for the Giants.
Okay. Moving on to the 8th pick in this draft, we got the Atlanta Falcons on the clock. This is potentially where maybe potentially the first quarterback could be taken in this draft. Their team needs a quarterback, running back, safety, linebacker, edge, and wide receiver. Christian, how do you have the Atlanta Falcons doing it?
Man, they can go in so many different directions. You could go quarterback here. Running back, like you have on the screen, isn't bad. Linebacker, possibly. Edge, it's possible. Offensive lineman, okay, but I like for them to address wide receiver here. And with the 8th pick, I had the Atlanta Falcons taking Drake out of USC. Closest thing I've seen to Mike Evans. He's cut from that cloth. I don't think he's as quick as Mike Evans is, but he's a 6'5" possession receiver. Pair him up with Kyle Pitts on the inside playing tight end or lined up on the other side as your number 2, and you have 2 trees that you can get the football to. I mean, Drake he's a vertical threat that can go up and get the football. It's almost like he boxes guys out to go up for.
We were talking about this yesterday before Drake London broke his ankle. His stats for last season in 8 games: 88 catches, 1,084 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
8 games.
He led the
They
college
never,
football with 19 contested catches. Is that
And you know
they
what's
never got.
crazy? You know what's crazy? I remember previewing USC and Notre Dame during the season last year on the site. And
what's the site again?
the Daily Blitz.blog. Come on, man. You knew it was
There you
coming.
go, baby.
You know it was coming. I was waiting for you. And USC pretty much ran the same play about 3 or 4 times, out and up to Drake London. And Notre Dame knew it was coming, and they still couldn't stop it.
TJ.
Charles Cross, the offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, just drives across the lane, calls Atlanta home. I wouldn't be surprised if they went receiver here, especially dealing with the suspension of Calvin Ridley. I think that's that's a panic move, in my opinion, because this is such a deep receiver class. It's important, but you don't really need to not right at that spot, especially if your quarterback gonna be running for his life.
Yeah, this is the Atlanta Falcons team that has bigger holes, I think, wide receiver. Even though that now that Russell Gage is gone now too. Like, I'm not even sure if they don't take a wide receiver at the number with pick. Like, I'm not even sure who the number 1 wide receiver is. But with that being said, I did not have them addressing. So Atlanta has kind of a decision to make here. They can either build up a top flight defense, or they can kind of put patchwork work on this offense. A year away. I'm going to have them go defense. I'm going to take them taking Trayvon Walker, kid out of Georgia, had a really good combine, was really good this season. Should give them that edge presence they were hoping from like the big team a few years ago. Trayvon Walker, Atlanta Falcons, great.
I like that.
Izzy.
I got the Atlanta Falcons going quarterback here. They're taking Malik Willis at this spot. I mean, you have to go with the future right here at the most important position on the team. So I got them going with Malik Willis here.
And now to pick number 9, we have the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. This pick is from Denver as part of the Russell Wilson trade. Their major needs are quarterback, offensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, defensive tackle. Izzy, Who do you have Seattle taking here at number 9 overall?
At Seattle, I got them taking Ekem. I'm trying to pronounce the name right from the offensive tackle over there from NC State, Ekem Ikwanu. I think they need to address offensive. Yeah, I think they need to address. Yeah, Ikwanu. Yeah, I think they need to address offensive tackle. They need to address a whole bunch of needs, especially definitely on that offensive line. But yeah, they go with the best offensive lineman available. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. And my best offensive lineman still available is Charles Cross. Look at Charles Cross calling Seattle home. Christian.
I have Seattle actually taking Malik Willis, the quarterback out of Liberty. He's the first quarterback taken on my draft board. Look, the only lock I trust is the one on my door. Okay, I do not trust Drew Lock. I'm just gonna put it to you. Okay, like yeah, because wasn't it one of y'all that said Drew Lock was gonna be something nice? I know this was before I came on.
It may have been said from time to time.
Was it you? Was it you, David?
Anyways, continue with the
yeah, but I have Seattle taking Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Okay. Seattle is not a greatly ran franchise at the moment, and because they're not a greatly ran franchise at the moment, I think they do the complete opposite, and they go Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I think they take another flyer on Drew Lock and try to see what they really got in him and get him some weapons.
I would be legitimately shocked.
Which is such a Pete Carroll thing to do.
It is the Seattle because they haven't drafted well in the last few years, but I would be legitimately shocked. They have Tyler Lockett. Okay. Moving on to the Jets at number 10.
But there are also trade rumors between the two of those.
That's true. I think Tyler Lockett's probably going to be hard to trade. So the Jets back on the clock at 10. This pick is from Seattle. It's part of the small trade. Their team needs are literally everything. This is where I have my first wide receiver coming off the board. I have to take Drake London, the kid out of USC. As I said before, his numbers before he got hurt last season were absurd. And look for the Jets. They were involved in the Tyreek Hill sweepstakes, so obviously they want to address their wide receiver position. I think you got the kid from Ole Miss they drafted last year, and with Drake London would be a perfect complement to that guy. Elijah Moore. Yeah, Elijah Moore. Thank you very much. Drake London going to the Jets.
Excuse me.
Is he?
For me, for the Jets, they're going best wide receiver available. In my opinion, that's Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. I just think he's the best wide receiver available. They're gonna go with that position right there. Give me Garrett Wilson right there at wide receiver. But you can't go wrong with either or. Like you said, I like Drake London. I think he'll move up in to one of these slots coming up here soon. So
yeah, his pro day is April 15th. So we'll see what happens at his pro day. TJ.
I think the Jets. I think they're content with. Well, not content, but like they got a nice little solid trio in Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, and Elijah Moore. They got CJ Uzoma in the offseason. I think they stay on the defensive end and they get Derek Stingley Jr. to build up that defense, and they get a 1-2 punch at corner with Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley Jr. You got your starting DBs for a decade. Go crazy.
Moving on to swinging out of the top 10 now. We're going to move a little bit faster as we get through this. So we got the Washington Commanders. I know I haven't updated this local, but I don't care right now. The pick is in. Team needs quarterback, offensive lineman, linebacker, safety, cornerback, and wide receiver. Christian, I never even asked you who had the Jets take. I'm sorry. Who do you have the Jets take?
I'm with Izzy. I have them taking Garrett Wilson as well.
All right, so to Washington, who do you have the Washington Commanders taking?
They need safety help. They need secondary help in the worst way. This is where I have Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame going to the Washington Commanders.
So I have the Washington Commanders addressing the wide receiver position. I have them taking Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State, partner him with another former wide receiver out of Ohio State, Scary Terry. And I think they have Curtis Samuel on this team too, but he's another former Ohio State wide receiver as well. So they'll just have all the Ohio State receivers on their team. TJ.
Drake London. I think Drake London calls Washington home. Again, with Carson Wentz, you just got to get him some help. and you gotta get Terry McLaurin some help. Like QB just can't be targeting him 30 times a game. You ain't gonna win that way.
Is he?
At 11, I got them taking Drake London as well from USC. Right here probably. If Jameson Williams didn't tear his ACL, in the Natty, he'd probably be going right here. One of those two picks, 10 or 11.
If
But
James
give me Drake
Williams
London right here at
torn his
11.
ACL in Natty, he would be taken 4 by
Yeah, he be top 5 if he didn't get hurt.
I think so. But yeah, I think that they need wide receiver help in the worst way. So yeah, let's roll. And I think they do need secondary help as well, especially. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings, their team needs are edge, offensive guard, cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver, defensive end, and defensive tackle. Izzy, who do you have the Minnesota Vikings take?
I got the Minnesota Vikings going with Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame at safety. Check it out. I've been saying this. I'm kind of crazy when I say this, but immediately they're going to become the longest, rangiest safety combination in the league with Kyle Hamilton and Harrison Hitman Smith. So give me Kyle Hamilton right here at Minnesota. And I think Minnesota kind of values that when it comes to their back end.
Well, they would have 2 safeties.
But they'll go with somewhere. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I have them addressing their secondary as well.
Right here.
I have actually had, I think, the same pick in like my last 2 mock drafts. It just makes too much sense. They brought back Patrick Peterson, so they'll draft Derek Stingley Jr., kind of show him the ropes, kind of be the guy that guides him in his career. Since he's had kind of 2 tumultuous seasons kind of there at LSU over the last 2 years, because when he was his first season at LSU, the dude was going to be a top 5 pick. He's fallen here to 12. Like Christian.
The Minnesota Vikings. Whenever they have an elite defense, they always have a key guy in the middle of the defensive line. I like the Minnesota Vikings to draft Big Jordan Davis here from Georgia. Yeah. I think he would fit in perfectly here. And you have your starting nose tackle for the next 5 or 7 years. This kid just amazes me. Ask Izzy. I would rave about this kid week in and week out. We would record a college football showdown. I mean, 6'6" and over 340 pounds. No kid that size should be moving as quickly as he does.
Was it 4.71 and 40?
Look, I can tell he's ran from an ass whooping or 2 in his life.
TJ.
Oh Lord.
You know I'm right, bro.
I think the Vikings. Like everybody else. I got the Vikings going defense. I just got them going George Karlaftis out of Purdue.
That's a good pick
to solidify that edge.
I like that pick as well. Moving on from there, we got the Ducks back on the clock. This pick is from the Watson trade. So yeah, Houston Texans quarterback, running back, tight end, offensive guard, defensive end, cornerback, safety, and I have them dressed as the linebacker position. Took a corner or a safety with their third pick overall. Now I have them doing a linebacker. I got them taking Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. I know his combine wasn't that, but when you watch the tape of Devin Lloyd, you can tell that he can play football. He can go sideline to sideline, edge to edge. The dude's going to be a great player. Christian.
I have the Houston Texans going wide receiver here because nobody really scares me in their receiving group. I like them to take Chris Olave out of Ohio State. I thought the Buckeyes, one of the Buckeyes' most dynamic receivers, do a little bit of everything. He's that chain mover specialist, that guy you throw the ball to on 3rd and short to move the chains. Get Davis Mills a weapon.
Is he?
I'm actually gonna go with Houston. I'm actually gonna go with Trent McDuffie out of Washington here.
That's a good pick.
They need some defensive back help. Yeah, so I got them. Yeah. I know it's probably a little high, but a little high for him because I know he's probably going maybe a little later than this. But in my opinion, I think they go, one of the better cornerbacks in the league. I mean, they need help all over the field. They could go with, Nakobe Dean as well from Georgia. So, but give me Trent McDuffie right here for the Houston Texans.
Jordan Davis. That's all I got to say.
Moving on from there, we got the Baltimore Ravens. 15. Their pick is in. They got the offensive lineman as cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker, edge, and defensive tackle. TJ, who do you have them taking here at 15? Baltimore Ravens. 14, sorry, Baltimore Ravens.
So we go back to back Georgia Bulldogs. Devontae Wyatt calls Baltimore home. What's his name? Calais Campbell is coming back for what probably
Two,
will
two,
be his last season
I just
or
two
two
years.
seasons.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, yeah, I think this year is a let's see how this year. I think this year is a let's see how we do this year kind of deal. I wouldn't be surprised if they went Trent McDuffie at 14. I wouldn't be surprised if they went linebacker at 14 either, because their entire defense just fell apart. But I got them going Devontae Wyatt,
And
defensive
speaking of Trent
tackle out of
McDuffie,
Georgia.
I have the Baltimore Ravens taking Trent McDuffie, the cornerback out of Washington, with the 14th pick. This when we talked about this Baltimore Ravens team, we talked about them having potentially the best secondary in the National Football League, and then a bunch of their players got hurt week after week after week. So you need to shore up that secondary. Trent McDuffie does that. He's a good football player. No, he didn't test particularly well at the combine, but he's a good Christian.
I think the Ravens need some offensive line help. I have them taking Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa. They need some stability at center, and I think they can provide that.
Tyler Linderbaum's going to be a multi-time pro. Like people are going to they're just ready to play. Is he?
For me, for the Baltimore Ravens, I got them going with Jordan Davis, defensive lineman out of Georgia, right here. Best defensive lineman right here available. And the Ravens, they can use a guy like him. Period. Any team can use a guy like that guy, like Jordan Davis. So go give me him at 14.
He's the modern day Vince Wilfork.
I agree. Moving on to that, we got the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock.
Like Space Eater.
This is the first of two picks they have in this draft. This is part of the Jalen Waddle trade for 2021. Team needs linebacker, cornerback, safety, edge, and wide receiver and offensive line. I have them taking Jacoby Dean, a linebacker out of Georgia, to stir up that defense in Philadelphia. Christian.
Yeah, the Eagles need some help in the secondary, and this is where I have Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU going. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this kid. I even saw some comparisons, and they were saying, he's like the closest thing to Charles Woodson. We ain't going there. Okay? We are not going there. I think he can be really good. He's not on that level. Look, let the kid get his feet wet and into the league.
You don't want to go there, but they going there, so it don't matter.
Look, we will not compare him to one of the GOATs yet.
I usually have when you do comparisons, don't compare it to people that are in the conversation. TJ.
This is the longest first quarter ever. Anyway, Eagles. I got Trent McDuffie going to Philly because they need it. They need a lot of stuff, but I got Trent McDuffie going to Philly.
Is he?
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me pull up my list. Right here at 15, I got them going with the. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Right here at 15, I got them going with the wide receiver Chris Olave. They do need some weapons on the outside. I know they did get Devontae Smith last year, but Chris Olave, probably third, fourth best wide receiver in this class. So give me Chris Olave. Had a lot of production at Ohio State.
I actually like that.
The more weapons for Jalen Hurts, the better.
Moving on to the 16, we got the New Orleans Saints. They're on the clock now because of the trade they made as part of the pre-draft trade. Their team needs a quarterback, wide receiver, offensive tackle, tight end, cornerback, safety, offensive line, and defensive tackle. Who do you have the Saints taking with the first of their second?
Right now. Oh yeah, right now, still on my board. The New Orleans Saints are going to go with the safest pick, and that is an offensive lineman with Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Right here at this pick.
With the 16th pick, I have the Saints taking Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. I think he's for them. Look, Jameis, he might steal a beignet or a crab leg or two in the next couple of years. TJ, don't shake your head at me.
Oh my.
Ian Book, I don't think that's gonna work out. I think this is
that's your boy, ain't it? Easy.
Look,
Ian Book sure not gonna work out.
Man, look, that ain't my boy.
If you watch the one game,
that ain't my boy.
Oh, come on, Izzy. You know you rock for
Uh,
the Fighting
TJ,
Irish. Come on, man.
go on
Well,
Saints.
Malik.
I love Notre Dame's my team, but I hate Ian Book. I don't hate anybody, but I very very much dislike Ian Book. I'll
Malik
give you that.
Willis. Malik Willis
Okay.
goes to New. I think this is a prime situation for him to actually like sit down and study the playbook, like, and then they move off of Jameis after this year. So Malik
Uh,
Willis.
I'm
Hmm.
I'm gonna grow with it. They're gonna try to be competitive this season. They're gonna have to shore up the rest of the
Ooh,
roster next season.
okay.
And one of the things they're gonna need to do is they're gonna deal with those offensive line. They're gonna have to build it through the draft because they have no cap space. Trevor Penning, the guy that they're gonna take, the kid out of Northern
I
Iowa,
like that.
he's just a good football player, and you can have him play right tackle or natural. Moving on to the next pick, we got the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock. They are the team needs a defensive tackle, offensive tackle, edge, wide receiver, and tight end. But
Ooh,
this is actually where I have the lone trade in my mock draft, and I have the Kansas City Chiefs giving up pick 29 and a third round pick of this year's draft to move up to 17 to take Jameis Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama. My thought process here is that Kansas City needs to jump Philadelphia and New Orleans and the Patriots and Green Bay, who all could potentially take wide receivers in this draft. They get the
mhm.
guy they want. They get arguably the best guy when he's healthy. James Williams becomes a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's unlikely he'll play this season, but they spent money on free agency, so it does not matter. They need somebody to replace Tyreek Hill. This is the best. Going to Kansas. Christian.
I have the Chargers taking Kenyon Green, the inside the offensive guard from Texas A&M.
Yeah, he's played everywhere on the offensive line except for center.
Exactly.
Yeah. TJ.
Devin Lloyd goes to the Chargers.
Is he?
I got them taking the tackle out of Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning. Yeah, that's they need to bolster. They're going to bolster that offensive line. They're primed for the playoffs next year, man. They better make the playoffs next year.
Well, I mean,
So
they spent enough money on defense. They're going to have it's either playoffs or bust at this point.
right.
Moving on from this, we got the Philadelphia Eagles back on the clock. This pick is part of the New Orleans part of the pre-draft trade. Linebacker, cornerback, safety, edge, wide receiver, offensive line is their needs. And I have them addressing the wide receiver position. I have to take Traylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. He's a perfect complement to what they already have in Devontae Smith. The guy's 6'5", 6'4", 225 pounds. Jump out of the gym. Look for him to be a great complement. And he's basically what they thought they were going to get out of, say, a Whiteside. Only he probably TJ.
Philly back on the clock. I got them going Traylon Burks, receiver out of Arkansas.
Christian.
I have Philly taking the Kobe Dean, the edge rusher out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm right. I'm right there with Christian as well. They went and got their quarterback, their wide receiver earlier at 15 with Chris Olave for me, and right now they go with Nakobe Dean out of Georgia.
Moving on to the New Orleans Saints for the second pick in the first round. Their team needs are still there. Izzy, who do you have the New Orleans Saints take with this ticket?
Now this is where I have them taking Traylon Burks from Arkansas. We don't know the situation. We don't know if Michael Thomas is going to be there to start the season. He made it very clear that he wants to get traded. So yeah, go get me Traylon Burks. They do, and even if Michael Thomas was there, they still need another weapon on the outside there in New Orleans.
TJ.
Jamison Williams.
I love it.
I like it too. Christian.
Tyler Smith, the offensive tackle out of Tulsa.
Okay.
Oh, he deep in his bag.
Yeah, that's deep in the bag.
Deep in the bag, son.
But I do like that. I do like the thought process behind it because they need to replace Armstead.
They do.
Yeah.
But his technique is like all over the place. Like he had like a billion holding calls like his last calls. We'll see. New Orleans, I have them taking Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Michael Thomas went to Ohio State, so let's just pair up some more Ohio State people together. maybe I'm not exactly sure what Michael Thomas' status is even going to be this season, but Chris Olave
I
gives them
don't
a
even think
legit
Michael
weapon.
Thomas knows what his status is going to be.
True, true. But yeah, I have them taking Chris Olave. Moving on to that, it's the pick number 20 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we talk about their draft picks, we just want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to the family and friends of Dwayne Haskins, who tragically passed away over the weekend. Prime Sports World just gives our thoughts to you and to him and his family. It's a tragic situation. The guy was trying to put it all back together. Sad. And their team needs quarterback, offensive line, corner, defensive tackle, safety, inside linebacker. And I have them taking my one and only quarterback off of my board. I got them taking quarterback Malik Willis out of Liberty. I think this is the perfect situation for him to kind of sit behind Mason Rudolph or Mr. Trubisky, whoever's up the end of winning the starting job for the season. Malik Willis will be the starter for next year. If things go south, either of those two guys, Malik Willis, Liberty for the I think they'll love him. Christian.
Kenny Pickett for Pittsburgh. He's going to play in the same stadium that he played in college.
That'd
be ideal.
That is not ideal. That's the worst thing actually. That is the worst thing.
Hey, it's my pick. Eat your popcorn, boy.
Easy.
Oh God. At number 20, I got Pittsburgh taking Matt Corral. David. It's very tragic that Dwayne Haskins passed away over the weekend, and I don't know if I would have had them taking a quarterback here. Probably would have had them going elsewhere. It's unfortunate, but I got Matt Corral going here at Pittsburgh. I don't miss.
TJ.
Kenyon Green. They still need offensive line help bad.
True.
So
and Kenny Green can play. All right, 21. New England Patriots, fresh off of losing arguably their best defensive player. Their team needs are cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, defensive tackle, offensive line. TJ, how do you see the New England Patriots addressing this draft?
The Patriots need receivers like the Army needs toilet paper. So they go Chris Olave out of Ohio State. They get Mac Jones some more weapons. I think what's his name, Bill Belichick, gets out of that stubborn thinking and get some offensive weapons for his young quarterback.
Whenever I think of Patriots defenses, they always have one of two key pieces. They either have that defensive tackle in the middle, and they have a linebacker. I like Devin Lloyd in this pick right here for New England Patriots. And y'all know my rule. You better have game.
If you got two first names.
I know that's right.
Yes, sir. We're on the same wavelength here, Christian. Look, I got New England taking Devin Lloyd, too, out of Utah. My man, best linebacker available right now. He's been rising up draft boards as well, man. And
Devin Lloyd is long gone in my mock draft, so they don't have the opportunity to take him. I have taken Andrew Booth Jr., the cornerback out of Clemson. I am very much aware that this guy got cooked a lot in college, especially last season. But he was on the field more than any Clemson defense was ever on the field because of how poor that offense was last season.
I mean, it happens.
So he's got the prototypical size. He's 6 feet. He's like 195 pounds. Like, he's got freak athleticism. I think, and they need to replace Jason Jackson. And Andrew Booth Jr. is the best corner still available. So that's how they'll have them go. The next team on the clock is the Green Bay Packers. They got this pick from Las Vegas, part of the Devontae Adams trade. And we'll let the Packer fan make Mr. Rivera, how do you see the Green Bay Packers here in this year's mock draft?
Man, I wish I could trade this pick back for my guy Adams, man. But I can't. So here, I was kind of frustrated a little bit. I wanted them. I was thinking Jameson Williams here, let's sit him out a year, but they need a wide receiver right now. And I think right now, in left available, Jahan Dotson from Penn State, I think could be a very, very special offensive player for the Green Bay Packers here at wide receiver. Great route runner, very athletic. Played in a great league in the Big Ten. Give me Jahan Dotson right here for my Green Bay Packers.
So I have the Green Bay Packers stay in the Big Ten, but I have them addressing another concern their edge rushers. So they've lost Darius Smith. Basically, so he walked because they didn't have enough money to save, basically to pay him. I had to take in George Karlaftis, the kid from Purdue. This dude has crazy measurables. I think it's like 6'4", 295 pounds, something like that, 265. The dude they call him the Greek freak of college football. Like dude, it's like they have been like all over the place on how good they think he's going to be, and they need to address the edge rusher. He's the best guy available. I think they can address wide receiver. I don't.
I have the Green Bay Packers. I'm with Izzy. I have them taking a wide receiver, but I have them taking the kid from Arkansas, Treylon Burks. Had the privilege of covering a couple of Arkansas games during the year, and this is a kid that just goes up and gets the football. He is a pure receiver, great release off the line of scrimmage, and this is when I said the other day, the Packers need to find their version of Justin Jefferson and their version of Jamar Chase, and I think it could be this kid right here.
Yeah.
So I think they go receiver too. I just think they get the kid out of North Dakota State, Christian Watson, and they also do it to say, hey, we finally gave Aaron Rodgers a first-round wide receiver. Shut the F up and leave us alone.
Moving on from the Green Bay Packers, we got the Arizona Cardinals on the clock. Cornerback, offensive line, defensive end, defensive tackle, wide receiver, and also defensive end is one of their needs. And I have them staying in the Big Ten. I had them taking Boa Mafe, the edge rusher out of Minnesota. This guy's been flying up with draft boards, tested out of his mind at the combine. I think he's got that prototypical size that kind of scouts kind of fall in love with when it comes to defensive end. And I actually stole this one. Last mock draft 3.0, he had Boy Mafe in his mock draft, and I did some research on him, and yeah.
I'm with you, David. I have them taking Boy Mafe as well.
Baby.
Wow.
They need that depth on the defensive line.
Yeah. I only say wow because you got 3 guys right now that's about to go take Boy Mafe for Arizona right now. He's my pick at number 23. He slid a little bit in my draft, but yeah, that boy, he's gonna be nice for Arizona on the edge. So give me Boy Mafe.
So I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go Kyer Elam, the DB out of Florida.
Of course, you're gonna go against the grain, man.
Moving on from there, we got the Dallas Cowboys on the clock now. The team needs defensive tackle, edge, offensive guard, safety, tight end, and linebacker. TJ, who do you have the Dallas Cowboys taking here?
So Jerry Jones makes a Jerry Jones pick, and he goes Tyler Lindenbaum out of the center out of Iowa because that's such a Jerry Jones pick. Like Tyler Lindenbaum is like literally born. He was born to get drafted by Jerry Jones.
I have the Dallas Cowboys addressing their offensive line as well, but I have them go in a different direction. I've been thinking the kid from Boston College, Zion Johnson. They've lost both of their guards. So they need to shore that up. They also lost the right tackle. There's somebody to take here. So give me Zion Johnson, offensive lineman, basically, out of Boston College. Christian.
I have the Cowboys addressing the pass rushing need. I have them taking George Karlaftis, the kid from Purdue.
Is he?
Yeah, so I'm with you, David, on the offensive line right here, but I actually have them going with the kid from Texas A&M, Kenyon Green, right here. And it addresses their guard need because they did lose the 2 guards of this offseason.
Yep. Moving on, we got the Buffalo Bills on the clock. Izzy, who do you have the Buffalo Bills taking? Team needs quarterback, defensive end, guard, linebacker, defensive tackle, running back, wide receiver.
Oh yeah, right here I got the Buffalo Bills going with Christian Watson here out of North Dakota State. Give my guy Josh Allen some weapons right here on the outside.
Christian.
I have them going defense because after Tre'Davious White, they really don't have 2 defensive back. I have them taking Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. He's a day 1 starter from the get-go.
Totally agree with you on their need at the quarterback, especially Levi Wallace is now elsewhere. I don't know where he signed, but it wasn't back with Buffalo. The problem is Andrew Booth Jr. is already gone on my mock draft. I don't think there's a corner really to take at 25, even though I did take a corner at 26. But I think the Bills are looking at their draft board and they look at Kenyon Green and they're like, yeah, this guy addresses a bunch of our needs. play him all over the place. And their offense is what's going to be fueling this Buffalo Bills team, especially next year. So give me Kenny Green, offensive guard, Texas A&M. He can play all over the place. So he gives them crazy versatility. TJ.
Trevor Penny out of Northern Iowa. I think Buffalo wants to focus on that. They got to focus on that run game a lot more. You can't do that if your line ain't getting no push.
100%. Then to the Tennessee Titans. Team needs cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker, edge, offensive line, outside linebacker, and tight end. And as I just teased, I have them taking a cornerback. I have them taking Kyrie Elam, the cornerback out of Florida. This does feel early for him, but the cornerback is such a big time need for the Tennessee Titans. I think they're going to reach. Christian.
I have the Tennessee Titans taking Devontae Wyatt, the defense out of Georgia.
TJ.
Jahan Dotson goes to Tennessee.
Izzy.
I got the Tennessee Titans going with Andrew Booth, cornerback from Clemson here.
Yeah, if he was still on my board, I probably would have taken him. I think Andrew Booth Jr. Bro. To the next pick, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock. Their team needs outside linebacker, center, defensive tackle, wide receiver, cornerback, tight end, running back. Izzy, what do you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I got them going edge rusher here, and right now, best available edge rusher right here is George Karlaftis out of Purdue. The Greek freak of the NFL, right? I guess whatever the case that is. College football, yeah, whatever. I got them going with him at number 27.
I also have Tampa Bay Buccaneers addressing their defense. Shockingly, the way my mock draft kind of played out, Jordan Davis is still here at 27. Do I think Jordan Davis will be here when the actual NFL draft happens? No, I think somebody's going to see him on the board somewhere in the mid-20s. Be like, yeah, we're going to trade up. Jordan Davis ends up becoming a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he basically replaces Dominic Sue. They still haven't re-signed, and he gives them basically a younger version of Dominic Sue. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they all threw a party based on the fact that this guy just fell in their lap, because what always happens in Tampa Bay, they always steal these guys late, especially since they got time. Jordan Davis. Christian.
That's in.
I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting safety Daxton Hill from Michigan.
TJ.
Andrew Booth Jr. They need DB help too, but I like the Jordan Davis pick. I think they will move up to get him.
Jordan Davis has zero chance of being here at 26. Like, somebody's going to trade up to get him. He's still here at 27.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it's going to go. But this is the way this mock draft kind of played out. And now to the Green Bay Packers for their second pick in the first round. Their team needs is still there on the screen. You can take a look at those. And our resident Packer fan, how do you see the Green Bay Packers using their second first round pick?
This is I feel like these first two picks are they needed to address wide receiver at first, but I think they addressed wide receiver in both of these picks. So I got them going with Sky Moore out of Central Michigan. The kid has crazy speed. They need a guy like that. They need, any type of weapon that they can get. They have literally no proven wide receiver. I mean, other than maybe, Lazard and Cobb. I mean, who else on that team is going to catch the football? Other than their one running back. So
I thought y'all was big on Big Bob.
No, man, hey, Big Bob Tanyan's coming off an injury, brother. Hey, he's coming off an injury, so he's got, they gotta come, they gotta ease him in slowly. So I got them going with Sky Moore. They need as many offensive weapons. Yeah, Big Bob Tanyan, right? They need a wide receiver. They address two wide receiver needs. Make Aaron Rodgers happy. Make the Packer fans, make the Packer faithful happy by getting two wide receivers in the draft.
Christian.
And that's why it's not going to happen. You let them do that one.
Have the Packers kind of tighten some things up on that offensive line. Taking Zion Johnson, offensive guard out of Boston College.
Love it. TJ.
I'm going Tyler Smith, the old lineman out of Tulsa. Hey, it's just like makes the Packer fans happy by getting two wide receivers. You're lucky you got the one.
I'm also going to make Packer fans somewhat happy. I'm going to have to take Jahan Dotson at 28, getting him that wide receiver. Yeah, as he pointed out, there is nobody proven on this roster right now. And Jahan Dotson can run rig routes, explosive. He played in the Big Ten. He understands what it means to be a big time wide receiver in college football. I think he'll transition pretty well to the national. Give him. And now to the Kansas City Chiefs. This pick is from Miami as part of the Tyreek Hill trade, which is also part. They went to San Francisco. It's a whole big thing. But in my mock draft, as you guys remember, this is now the Los Angeles Chargers on the clock. So I had them taking Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle out of Georgia. I think they may have taken him anyways, or they would have taken probably Jordan Davis, still there. But this is kind of like 2.0 best defensive tackle in the draft. Devontae Wyatt gives them what they need to run stop.
I have Kansas City going with a wide receiver here. I like them to take Jameson Williams out of Alabama. Now, will he play? That's to be determined, but they need something in the worst way to replace him, to replace Tyreek Hill. That's a big loss for that offense. Travis Kelce's good, but when they double Travis Kelce, who is Mahomes going to turn into consistent?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not going to be MVS, and sure not going to be somebody.
Yeah.
Izzy.
Here at number 29, I got the Kansas City Chiefs going with Daxton Hill, safety out of Michigan. We still don't know, the whole Tyrann Matthews situation. We don't know if he's gonna.
He's for sure not coming back. I mean, they basically spent the money they could have spent on Tyrann Matthew on Justin, who's a fine player, but no disrespect.
Yeah. Right. So safety. Yeah. So safety is gonna be a need for them right here at this pick. So Daxton Hill's a no-brainer right here for me. For them.
I fully expect the Chiefs to try to move up off one of these picks. I don't know which one, but and just for the sake of this mock, they stay right here and they get Nakobe Dean out of Georgia to help out that defense. I get they want to go receiver, but it's a deep receiver draft, so they can worry about replacing Tyreek Hill later in the draft, like in the second round. If they have a second round pick.
I agree. I actually agree with you on that one, TJ. They can go with defense just strictly these first two picks, or they can package these up, move up, and get a better wide receiver than what would fall into their lap. You know what I mean?
Right.
I agree with you. Moving on, we got the Kansas City Chiefs back on the clock. This is their original draft pick. Christian, how do you see them choosing the second pick?
With the second pick, they need edge help in the worst way possible. I have them taking Jermaine Johnson the second.
Yeah, I would be legitimately shocked if Jermaine Johnson was still here at 30.
What's the one thing I always say about the draft?
I know, expect the unexpected, but I would be shocked.
Okay, did you think Lamar Jackson would be 32nd overall a couple years ago?
Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there, but I do think that's a really, if they could get him at 30, it'd be like a steal of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah, that would be. And honestly, he's still left on. And honestly, David, this is where I'm going to because he's still left on my draft board. The
narrative is what's being talked about with.
I know he's supposed to be a top 15 pick. I mean, literally, I could have had New England taking him at number 21, and I had him taking Devin Lloyd because I think he's more of a Bill Belichick guy, the linebacker or whatever the case is. So I got Kansas City going with the best edge rusher here available, which is Jermaine Johnson. And I'm so sad at myself for not even having him on any earlier in the draft, So I'm kicking myself here.
Boye Mafe out of Minnesota goes to KC. I know they want to go receiver. I know Chiefs fans want them to go receiver, but at the end of the day, what's his name?
They have two second round picks. I mean, if they really want to address wide receiver, they can do it.
They can do it that, and at the end of the day, you got carved up by some dude named Gabriel Davis who made his name in that game. Outside of Buffalo, nobody knew who he was until he lit you up for 200 yards.
He played fast.
Hey,
waiting for it. Come on, you guys are off your game a little bit. I have the Kansas City Chiefs drafting the safety position. I actually have taken Daxton Hill, the safety out of Michigan. I think this dude is going to be a really good player. But yeah, look at Daxton Hill. Pick for them. I think they're safe. Two now, the Cincinnati Bengals. Their major concerns now are cornerback, offensive line, safety, linebacker, and tight end. Although they have addressed a myriad of offensive line concerns in free agency. So how do you see them going with this draft, Christian?
Christian.
I think I lost Christian.
Gone.
All right, so TJ,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I got them going Kyler Gordon, the other DB out of Washington, just to, like you said, they solidified they made a bunch of offensive line moves in the offseason, so they don't really have to address that in the draft. They don't want to. Maybe later down the line, it's like more of a depth thing, but they go Kyler Gordon. They get secondary help.
I have them
Right.
going. I have them going linebacker. I have them taking Kobe, linebacker out of Georgia. He's just probably my best player still available, and they do have a hole at linebacker. Kind of have sure up. Jacoby Dean is going to
get. Christian is back.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey, Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. I have them taking Kyer Elam from Florida.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. Go. Let me get Kyer Elam right here, a cornerback out of Florida. They do need some DB help. Bengals can go a myriad of ways, but give me Kyer Elam here. Best available cornerback available right now. Mm-hmm.
And moving on to the Detroit Lions, the final pick in the first round. Their team needs a wide receiver, quarterback, offensive guard, linebacker, defensive tackle. This pick is originally part of the Matthew Stafford trade for 2021. This is a Detroit Lions that could go a myriad of different directions when it comes to their last pick in the draft. Because the thing about the last pick in the draft is you get the extra guaranteed year where you have control over them for one more season. So, where do you think Detroit's going to go, Jay?
Daxton Hill. They get a local kid. They get Daxton Hill out of Michigan, play safety. They pair him with Kyle Hamilton. And again, so I'm looking at a secondary now with Kyle Hamilton, Daxton Hill, and Jeff Okudah.
I mean, okay. We don't know what Jeff Okudah is.
Well, they traded what's his name off. They traded Darius Slay and made him DB1, so they got to feel some type of way about him in order to do that.
He's been hurt, basically.
Right.
So you don't make that move. You don't make that move if Jeff Okudah ain't your guy. Period.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I very much considered going quarterback here for the Detroit Lions, but as TJ always says, and as TJ pointed out to me the last time we had this particular show, Jared Goff's not that old. Like, they could literally roll with, if Jared Goff can get things rolling, they could literally roll with him, and they might as well build around Jared Goff, at least for a little while. He's under contract for a decent amount of money. If it doesn't work out figure out a quarterback next year. I have them taking David Ojabo, the edge rusher out of Michigan. I know he tore his Achilles. I know he tore his Achilles at his pro day, so he's probably this next season is probably going to be a wash. But if David Ojabo is fully healthy, he's a top 15 pick this year's draft. And the great thing about taking him here at the very last pick of the first round, you get that extra year. So you can basically redshirt him, and it won't really hurt. And then see what he can get out of him next season. David Ojabo is the guy that I think Detroit is going to take. He's a local kid, played at Michigan, and he would be a steal if he can get back right at 32. Detroit. David.
Man, I love that pick. I love that pick. I love that pick. I love it.
I have the Detroit Lions closing now.
You waiting for me? At 32, they're either gonna go with one of these two guys and sit them out. I'm actually gonna lean towards David Ojabo as well from Michigan. I feel bad for the kid Jameson Williams. He should not be slipping out of my first round draft, but he is. But he's gonna get picked up in that early second round. But yeah, give me David Ojabo. They're gonna sit him. Better quarterback class next year. And they're in the CJ Stroud and
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young sweepstakes. Yep, exactly for next year.
Christian, final pick.
I have the Detroit Lions taking my namesake, Christian Watson, out of North Dakota State. Need a wide receiver. Got rid of Kenny Golladay a year ago, so why not fill that void?
Yeah. So that's been our mock draft 4.0. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Give us some feedback on our picks. Who do you think had the better mock draft? I think it's, by the way. So just saying. I think I am. Yeah. But this has been Prime Sports World. Thank you very much for joining us. Israel Rivera, CEO of Prime Sports, TJ Hopkins, Christian Simpson. I've been David On Point Huffman. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat.
We bring the heat, my friend, and hopefully it stops raining here in Chicago.
Say that with your chest out. We bringing the heat every episode here on the Prime. Let's go.
We're bringing the heat, babies. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. We're going to be doing some NBA or NFL content tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that stuff. You guys all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you later. Peace out, brother.
Yup.